It is Ottawa's newest festival kicking off tomorrow night, and they have so many things planned, and this was due to an in-depth study that the Bank Street BIA did. And speaking of that, Christine Ledman joined us. She's the Executive Director of the Bank Street BIA. Welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Sebastian Provost, he is from the House of Sass, and he is very sassy, by the way, in case you're wondering. He is also the creative director and producer of Glow Fair. Welcome to the show, Sebastian. Great to have you here. So, Christine, you did an in-depth study of the neighborhood itself. What came out of that study?
I think one of the key elements that came out of it was that the demographic down there are more tuned to live music. They're not the theater goers, that type of thing. They're very culturally attuned to what's happening, and they want to see live music. They stay local. So, I mean, I think this is where, I mean, it really just solidified what our thoughts were about the area. So it was a great study to have at our hands.
Yeah.
And Christine, which area was this around? That was Bank from?
From actually, what it does, it takes the downtown from Wellington to the canal, down to Bronson, and to the 417 to Catherine Street.
And you went through some difficult renovations down there, let's call it that. A lot of construction, I'm sure a lot of businesses, and even neighbors and residents, you know, went through a lot. Is this a way to celebrate finally the end of all of that and to invite people to the new Bank Street area?
Well, partly, but like any area, they evolve. And
Right.
I think there was a lot of effort that went into rebranding it after that whole experience. We have a lot more people who are coming to live in the downtown core. So it was really taking that downtown at the intersection of everything and really putting it into action. And so that's kind of livening up Bank Street again. I think it's a downtown area that's been slightly forgotten.
I agree.
And I think now this is our opportunity to shine a light on our new Bank Street.
So you got in touch with this guy, and who better to create an incredible atmosphere, and that's what you've done. So what was your vision, Sebastian? They approach you, and your vision is what for this fair?
Well, you know, it was actually a really interesting process because it's not too often that you get clients that tell you that they don't want anything boring, and actually the safe ideas that you're used to having to pitch are dismissed right away. So, you know, they wanted to have something that was not just another music festival, something that, excuse me, would appeal to a broad audience because the demographic in Centertown is, you know, quite varied.
Yeah.
And they wanted to do stuff that Ottawa's never done before. So for me, it was creatively, it was really fulfilling, and making it free was that much more, because that's usually, as a producer, is the first thing that's, you know, in the back of your mind is you have to recoup that money or you have to charge tickets. And so when you take that variable away, it really allows you to focus on the creative.
Right.
Yeah.
And just be free and do whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah. And the board and the organization, you know, I think for probably the first clients I ever had that really embraced that. And so, you know, it was like no limit. And so it really allowed me to kind of dig deep into some of the things that I've always wanted to do and never actually had the opportunity to do.
So paint us the picture. What if people go down? What is it going to look like?
Incredible.
I know, because I've seen what the plans are.
You're going to see a lot of different things. So part of it is the music, and we have a couple of different genres. So we have a live music stage, which has all sorts of different types of different acts. We have a DJ-based stage. We have a rock stage. We have all of the merchants that are you know, doing extended patios, and they're having special sales. Incredible street decor and street performers, really breathtaking actually, all custom stuff done by Sharon House of Avant-Garde. Oh. You're going to see a lot of technology that's really going to interact with the audience. So a lot of visual technology. We have some of the best visual artists that are working on the stages, stuff that you don't actually see at a lot of the festivals here.
Excellent.
And then we're introducing some really cool technology. Part of the thing about being unique and really shining a spotlight on Bank Street, you know, things like silent disco. So the ability to stay out on the street until 2 a.m. and not break any sound, you know.
So how are you managing to do that?
You know, it's funny because I was sitting at home one day and I'm thinking, you know, what am I going to do with all these thousands of people, you know, after 11:30?
Yeah.
I don't want them to go anywhere. We want them to stay on Bank Street. And so I was just sitting at home, and I was kind of woe me, and I called a producer friend of mine in New York, and I was telling him my problems, and he's like, well, silent disco. And I'm like, well, what is that? And it's a huge phenomenon in Europe, and New York's really embraced it because they have some really strict rules. And what it is when you have to turn off the music, you know, when the bylaw kicks in, you get these high-powered headsets. Some of them are lit up, and so the music continues, and it's actually quite hilarious because, you know, people are dancing and going crazy and it's silent. So,
I've seen this before.
yeah, and so it was really interesting because it was something that, you know, Ottawa really hasn't done. And mix that with the light, mix that with the sound, mix that with all the visuals and the LED, and all of a sudden you have a really kind of immersive experience, you know, in a historic and great neighborhood that's really coming into its own again.
Some of the entertainment highlights, you've got some great performers.
Thank you. I'm pretty excited about it. We have Chus and Ceballos, which are probably the two biggest DJs in the world right now, and you know, to get them to do a free show, it's just pretty incredible, and it's you know, mind-boggling for Ottawa. We have a Grammy Award-winning Hex Hector, who has remixed everyone from Madonna to Mariah Carey. He'll be here on Saturday night. Two of Canada's top DJs, Stefan Golden and Mark Anthony, they really established house music in Canada. Then you move over to the live music stage, and we have Judith Hill, who's headlining Saturday, and she was Michael Jackson's duet partner. She backed up, you know, Stevie Wonder and Elton John, and she was on The Voice this year. Sandy Duperval, who trained with Whitney Houston's mother out of Montreal. Some really great local people, Noah, Soul Jazz Orchestra, two-time Juno nominees. I mean, we've got so much good stuff, and just there's something for everyone.
A lot of emerging artists too, like Kendall is one, a new one that's coming in. So I think that's one of the things that really ties into Bank Street is that emerging artists as well.
Yeah, an emerging neighborhood.
That's right.
Bringing in emerging artists.
Yes.
And let me just say how refreshing it is, Christine, to hear that not only yourself and the committee, but you got all of the businesses on board to do something different, because you know, a lot of people look at Ottawa and go, oh, it's boring old Ottawa, and you guys said, forget that boring Monica, we're going to do something exciting. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to talk more Gold Fair a little bit later on in the show, because Aga and Dan are here, the track stars, a couple of DJs, and they're going to be walking us through, giving us a little bit of a demonstration of their craft. Again, kicking off tomorrow night. It happens tomorrow night and Saturday. Go and get involved. Bring your family down too. It's a very family-friendly event as well. And it's free, my favorite four-letter word. Don't go away. Bob Bosson is on the show, and he's going to be telling us about his brand new one-man musical called Davy the Punk. We're back with him right after this.